Hi, welcome to our channel Good New. In recent years, owing to fundamental improvements in 4G, the coverage rate of 4G in my country has expanded, and the penetration rate of 4G users nationally has surpassed 80%. At the same time, the development of 4G carries with it a slew of issues. New consumers are scarce, industry rivalry is severe, and telecommunications carriers have entered a phase of slow growth. Since 2018, the rate of 4G development has steadily slowed. China Telecom, China Mobile, and China Unicom have all struggled to increase their income as telecommunications companies. The pace of increase is far lower than the rate of GDP growth. To a significant degree, the development of telecommunications operators has stalled. This has also caused issues in the functioning of telecommunications operators in several regions, causing individuals to fluctuate and everyone to be concerned. It appears that the development of my country's telecommunications operators is currently encountering bigger challenges. So, how should we approach this issue? What has been the evolution of China's telecommunications providers over the last 5 years? Please watch my video today to discover out. First, let's look at the growth rates of Chinese telecom operators over the last 5 years. In 2018, China Telecommunications' total operating revenue was 377.124 billion yuan, a 3% increase year-on-year. China Mobile's total operating revenue was 736.8 billion yuan, a 1.8% increase year-on-year, and China Unicom's total operating revenue was 263.7 billion yuan, a 5.9% increase year-on-year. This growth rate is significantly lower than the GDP growth rate of 6.7%. In 2019, China Telecom's operating income was 375.734 billion renminbi, a 0.4% decline year-on-year. China Mobile's operating income was 745.9 billion yuan, a 1.2% rise year-on-year, and China Unicom's operating income was 290.51 billion renminbi, a 0.1% loss year-on-year. Not only is the GDP growth rate less than 6%, but the growth rates of China Telecom and China Unicom are also negative. This is the worst year in recent memory for telecommunications companies. In 2020, China Telecommunications' operating income was 393.6 billion yuan, a 4.7% increase year-on-year. China Mobile's operating income was 768.1 billion yuan, a 3% increase year-on-year, and China Unicom's operating income was 303.8 billion yuan, a 4.6% increase year-on-year. The revenue growth of the three telecommunications companies exceeded the 2.3% GDP growth rate that year. In comparison to prior years, the growth rate has recovered, although it is still not excessive. In 2021, China Telecommunications' annual operating income will be about 440.8 billion yuan, an increase of 10% to 12% year-on-year. China Mobile expects the company to achieve operating income of about 844.877 billion yuan to 852.558 billion yuan in 2021, an increase of 10%-11% year-on-year, and China Unicom achieved operating income of 327.9 billion yuan, an increase of 7.9% year-on-year. The growth rate of all telecommunications operators is about equal to or greater than the GDP growth rate of 8%. The growth rates of China Telecommunication and China Mobile both topped 10%. According to the data of the three telecommunications operators, after several years of slow development in the telecommunications business, all three telecommunications operators have achieved considerable revenue growth at the same time. Why is telecommunications revenue increasing and the market improving? There are several factors for telecommunication operators' revenue development, all of which are inextricably linked to the efforts of telecommunication industry employees, as well as the fight and aggressiveness of telecommunication industry executives. In addition to these human aspects, I believe that the building and development of 5G will play a significant role in the revenue growth of the telecommunications sector. It is possible to say that China's telecommunications sector has begun to reap the benefits of 5G. We are all aware that, with the completion of 4G development, the telecommunications sector has entered a period of slow revenue growth. The three telecommunications companies have lost their new user growth impetus. The three telecommunications companies can only compete by lowering their pricing. Fees are extremely valuable to society as a whole, but they are extremely harmful to the development of telecommunications providers themselves, and the telecommunications sector has slowed significantly. Indeed, as a result of 5G construction, a big number of customers switched to 5G packages, which considerably increased user excitement for traffic. With the advancement of 5G construction, high-quality video has become an increasingly popular service for users, and the short video market has shown explosive growth. The average user spends 40 hours per month watching short videos, and the number of 5G package users is expected to reach 300 million by 2020. The ARPU value per user of these 5G consumers has climbed by more than 10 yuan, bringing telecommunication carriers tens of billions of dollars in income. In 2020, the three telecommunications carriers' revenue growth will be somewhat higher than in 2019. In 2021, the three telecommunications carriers' 5G package subscribers will total 738 million, resulting in a 10% increase in income for the telecommunications operators. What forecasts have I made for the telecom sector market over the next 3 years? Although the 5G push has increased telecommunications operators' income, the potential of 5G have not been completely released, and the market dividend has not only not been exhausted, but has only just begun. To begin with, China's 5G network building is not yet complete, with only 1.425 million base stations constructed. More than 2 million base stations are projected by 2020, and 5G construction will move from cities to rural regions gradually. China's 5G package consumers will approach 1 billion by 2022. China's 5G package consumers will top 1.3 billion by 2023. The newly additional 5G package users will also result in a rise in ARPU value and income for telecommunications companies. With the progressive completion of 5G development over the next 3 years, it is expected that around 300 million additional 5G package consumers would be added each year, resulting in higher revenue growth. Second, despite the fact that China now has 738 million 5G package subscribers, which has resulted in significant revenue growth for telecom operators, the major business is the short video business that evolved during the 4G period, and the true 5G-related business. It hasn't detonated yet. This necessitates the completion of the 5G network development. Some applications that demand high bandwidth and low latency will only grow in the 5G era. The proliferation of these new services may also result in changes in bandwidth and 5G. Greater commercial prospects will result from meeting increased demand. Takeaway, electronic payment, and brief video services are only possible under reasonably flawless 4G conditions, and 5G must also have a mass market-oriented company that demands high bandwidth. However, it must have a nearly flawless 5G network. Third, profits from industrial applications will be distributed progressively. We've long believed that 5G research will lead to breakthroughs in industrial applications. There have been many experiments over the years, but the commercial contribution to telecommunications providers has been little since the sector has to identify the link between 5G and conventional businesses. It also requires improvement in several areas, including network, intelligence, and sensing capabilities. Only then will it be extensively employed in the sector, bringing money and profits to telecommunications carriers. To summarize, I believe that after several years of research, Huawei and many other firms have actively participated in numerous industries such as smart automobiles, smart mines, smart ports, and telemedicine. Breakthroughs will undoubtedly occur, resulting in increased income and profit. It should be noted that the development of 5G has provided an outstanding chance for expansion in China's telecommunications business. Network construction, business organization, and platform construction will all bring about modifications and shifts in the pattern during the next 3 years. Telecommunications companies should take this chance to boost 5G construction and deliver growth possibilities to the sector through 5G construction. Thanks for watching in this video. You can add your ideas or suggestions below. Please keep following our channel and like our videos.